Hi everyone, and welcome to ROX TV, only on ROX Network. I'm Roxy, and tonight I'm interviewing Devilfire vocalist Alex Cooper from right here in the West Midlands. Here goes.
Stayed well and healthy.
Yeah, I've kind of, I haven't spoken to the lads much. Obviously, Baz Baz is store manager at the Cambridge store for PMT, so he's in the same boat as I am. Jamie's at the Birmingham one. He's all right. Yeah, and I haven't spoken to neither of them because I kind of work with them, so
yeah,
you know, I kind of know what's going on with them most of the time, anyway. And then, but I've spoken to Kieran and Lars. Yeah, you know, this whole thing has knocked everybody. Lars is a touring musician who can't tour, can't do any work.
He's got no money coming in.
He's a very resourceful chap. I'm sure he makes a lot of it worthwhile. But yeah, it's been hard for him. And but Kieran's okay. Kieran works for Samsung, and he's quite high up in the hierarchy of Samsung. So, but his main job is to travel across to Germany and do a lot of that sort of stuff because he speaks fluent German and he works with them. And he hasn't been able to do that a lot. So he's still locked down in Wales at the moment, I think.
So there'd been no chance for you guys to get together and rehearse then? I mean, it goes without saying, I suppose.
Yeah, we're not, because we're based all in. I mean, I run Devilfire on my own, you know, for most of it anyway. But in terms of getting together, no, we haven't had a chance to do anything. We've had a lot of offers from online festivals and different, different things going, do you want to get together and play this? Do you want to get together on Skype and do this and that? None of us have had either the time or the technology to really do it because we've just been fighting fires, you know, with the world so much. I've managed to sort a few things to put out and all the rest of it in the meantime, bits of content, all the rest of it. Our management, Peter and Steve, have been getting on with things mainly. But yeah, it's been a very hard time for all of us. But we seem to be winning in some way.
Fingers crossed. We're rooting for you guys. We really are. I mean, you was, soaring heights, and to see the brakes put on like this is terrible. But
yeah,
you can't keep a good band down.
No, we're in it for the long run. There's nobody's going anywhere. Let's put it that way. And it's my baby, so I'll never stop doing it and making it grow. I mean, we actually got the vinyl delivered yesterday, which is in that box there, which looks amazing. Yeah. Oh. So happy with these. I have to show you.
Oh, I want to see it. Definitely. I mean, I think the new album cover's so cool. Oh yeah.
So that's the vinyl.
I've got to say, it looks very cool on vinyl.
They're really cool. Yeah. So we got to shift a few of these. We haven't had as many pre-orders as I'd like for these, but it was one of those things where I was like, I'm gonna press the thing whether everyone buys it or not, because I've always wanted one.
Yeah, I really don't blame you, because there's nothing like that feeling of, seeing your work on vinyl.
Absolutely.
Nothing replaces it. So
and we've got the CDs. They've come in, although we've got to get together and sign them all. And obviously they won't go out till the release on September the 14th. But there's the CDs as well. So yeah, it's all here. We just obviously COVID just knocked everything, and now we've just got to wait. The reason it's put it all back is because we did a deal just around the time everybody went into lockdown. We did a deal with Cargo Records to distribute the album, and they were like, yeah, great, we'll take this many off you. We're going to get it in HMV. We're going to do that and the rest of it. And then all the shops closed. So anything that we had in line, and because the deal was an exclusive deal, anything we had in line just got put back. It just was like, no, you can't do this. You're contracted in, so you can't release it without us. So you've just got to wait. We're going to put it back by 3 months. And I was just like, I was so ready for it to just be gone and done.
Yeah, well, I mean, you built it up, hadn't you? I mean, you released the single Dream Evil with the video that went with it, which is cool. And, you know, it was like we was all eagerly anticipating this new album, especially me, because, you know, I'm a big fan. She says, be no fan girl.
Yeah, you're amazing. Thank you, yeah.
So needless to say, I will be ordering the signed CD.
Yeah.
That goes without saying. We go with the collection.
We're probably gonna try and do like a very well either social distance, or we're gonna try and get everybody together around the end of August to basically do almost like an induction day where we're just going to sit down and sign all the orders and make sure everything's going out right and all the rest of it, and then we'll figure out what we're doing for the rest of the year, because nobody knows what's going to happen. Venues are going under left, right and centre.
Yeah.
We have got shows booked. But no, you can't.
You can't say for definite where you're going to play, can you?
No. Because even the ones that have reopened now, we're starting to see. I mean, where I work is next to the King Billy in Northampton. And even they put up on their Facebook last night, guys, either use it or lose it, because if you don't use it, it's going to go. Because no one's going out to the pubs, everyone's scared. I don't blame them.
Well, no, I mean, that's fair enough. But, you know, live music was struggling as it was.
Well, especially rock music.
Yeah, and rock music is always best live.
Yeah.
So, you know, it'll be a very sad day when we lose all these venues.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things as well where the people with power and with financial power now are now going to have more financial power, which makes it a monopoly, which is even worse for the industry. Any sort of monopoly for any business is bad when one person controls it. And I, you know, as much as, you know, everybody wants to be with the big boys, don't get me wrong, like Live Nation are the big boys in terms of booking agents and all the rest of it. And they're very good. And don't get me wrong, if they came to Devilfire and said, you know, we want to represent you, then we'd be great. And, you know, I've dealt with them before on other things. But for there to be proper commerce in any way and an economy within this industry, you can't just have one person controlling it all. And it's the way it's going with the smaller venues, smaller booking agencies, all of the other, if they all fall away and there's only one left, then we're done. You know, like, it's just, you're only going to get what you're being fed and nothing else is going to come through. And maybe I'm wrong, but I always thought rock music was about being different, you know, and you know, like, and being able to walk there and go, you know, I don't want to do that. I want to be rebellious. I want to rebel against the status quo. Yet rock music now seems to be being led by the status quo. And I don't know what went wrong.
Yes, it's a very good comment. It seems to be the more commercial you are, the better chance you've got of being picked up. But they just don't have the essence of rock and roll. It's just sort of mass-produced dance music with the guitar.
I mean, Devilfire is I always thought of us as being a pretty likeably commercial band in a lot of ways. You know, big hooks, melodic rock, nothing too dark and heavy, but, you know, straight down the line. But then again, it now is just coming down to even commercialism. You can have the most commercial band in the world, and you can have Nickelback #2 or something that you go, oh my God, this is amazing. If you don't have the money to push it above the absolute forest of bands, if you don't have enough money to push it to the top above the trees to make it sit where it used to sit, then it's dead in the water before it even tries, because it just gets pulled in with it's another tree and a load of trees. And back in the day, you used to have, and we've seen many examples of this, you used to have a band playing to 3 people in a room. Some guy would walk in and go, "You're going to be the next biggest band because I've got the clout and the money to put you above the trees where you need to be." You know, like Oasis, for example. Alan McGee walks into King Tut's and goes, "They're going to be the biggest band in the world and I'm going to make it happen." And he had somewhere near the clout and all the rest of it. And it just happened, you know. And I'm not saying it was all money, but, you know, but a fair chunk of it has got to be, you know, it's got to be that clout and push. Some of it's influence, some of it's money. And you know, we've seen it many times with many bands. And that's why a lot of times people are going, "Well, I don't understand why this band is so big." Because I don't like them. You know, a lot of people don't like them, but you know, they're big because they actually have the clout and the money to stand above it all. So, you know, it's, but if nobody's making any money in the industry, that doesn't even happen. And we are denied those bigger bands. We are denied those things because we just get a sea of trees. You know, we just get a million bands on YouTube and no way of differentiating any cream from the crop, you know?
No.
You know?
There aren't any modern rock stars.
No.
To quote one of your songs, "Waiting for a rock star," you know, there aren't. I think we are waiting for the next rock star.
Well, that song is about that. You know, that song is very much about. I mean, you know, I've talked with many people over my career, and you know, we said that, you know, nowadays maybe it's more about what I consider to be a rock star that I don't see. You know, like, let's put it this way: Dave Grohl is a major musician, and he is a rock star by all accounts. But I always thought of him to be more of a rock star when he was in Nirvana than he is now. Now he's your best mate Dave, who's also in the Foo Fighters. You know, like, that's not entertaining to me. That's not a rock star in the entertainment view of the thingy. You know, Tommy Lee, you know, just living a life that is 10 million miles above the trees. You know, he's like here. And, you know, most people live here. Dave Grohl lives here, you know, like, but back in the day, we had the money to make these guys gods.
Yeah.
And now we don't. And this is the whole thing about waiting for a rock star is, it's like, well, we're waiting for something to change, basically, if that's going to happen.
Oh, I hope one day it does. I hope that I mean, I know there was all the excess that went on in the 80s, but what a time. I mean, you know, it was amazing.
But that's the theatrics of that industry. The beauty there was enough theatre in not just what was happening on stage, but what was happening backstage and what was happening on tour buses and what was happening when these guys just walked into a room. And because you built them up to be gods and they believed they were gods, they started acting like gods. And then you have entertainment because people don't want to see regular people. If people want to see regular people, they'd walk into McDonald's and ask somebody to sing a song. You know, that's fine. But, you know, like, I watch TV, I watch movies, you know, I go to the cinema because I want to see something big. You know, I go, oh my God, I want to see a big epic soundtrack and I want to see a big load of movie stars and I want them to be, you know, like, and you want the women to be amazing and you want the men to look like Greek gods and, you know, like, and, you know, it's all that fantasy, you know.
That's right. It's escapism from normal life.
Yeah, and rock was supposed to be about that as well. It was supposed to be rebellious and dangerous and full of epicness and that's what I always wanted with Devilfire. I wanted to do that a little more, and you know, it's hard to do in this day and age.
It is, but you do pull it off, I have to say. I mean, from the first time we saw you, you know, you walked on stage like rock stars. You know, not sort of shuffling on and saying, well, okay, we're the support guys. You know, you came on with that strut. And a lot just don't seem to have that. It's just not there.
I always think we were just a little bit mad.
That helps in rock.
But that was what I wanted in the band from the very first day. I did want larger than life characters, and even though we've had lineup changes for one reason or another, probably because larger than life characters tend to really throw their opinion around. You know, it's all. I mean, it was always a nucleus of me, Baz, and Lars. You know, it was always my thing, and I first of all came to Lars with it, and then we got Baz in, and you know, it always became like me, Baz, and Lars. But then, you know, and Davey and Rich were great. You know, when we did the tours, I mean, they're big characters, and you know, and sometimes things just clash. I think it all came to a head.
It happens.
And then we got Dan in, and Dan was great, and everybody, and then Dan and Kieran, you know, and both of those, you know, Kieran's you know, a rock star in his own right, and Dan as well. And then with Dan, he was just doing too much. He was doing the Monument thing, and Monument they were further along than we were. They were, you know, like they were down. They were getting a lot of stuff happening with this Greek label, who were pushing a lot of them you know, pushing them on to tour with Iron Maiden, and there was a lot of that stuff. And I remember having this very, very honest conversation with Dan. I was like, Dan, we're doing a lot as well. So if you can't do both, I'd rather you tell me now and we remain friends than us fall out later down the line when I just get frustrated. And he was like, well, we've been friends for years, so what do you want to do? And I was like, mate, I can't say to you, quit Monument and come stay with Devilfire. So quit Devilfire, you know,
Yeah.
You know, and you know, and Jay had already been doing some gigs for us and depped in, so it was a very logical choice to go with Jay. You know, he was, you know, he's that, you know, he was just that guy who fit. Yeah, he just fit it very well, and he's a bit of the daddy of the group now. He kind of like levels everybody out a little bit.
It's a basis job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The lukewarm water.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? They're sort of the water sign of a band, and it's kind of, it's just all chill.
So yeah, so I mean, so that's how it's kind of been, really, and it's been a roller coaster ride. But I'd have been bored if it wasn't. Yeah. And I never wanted to be bored with this. The whole point was to be.
No, and you're on album number 2 now, Black Soul Vendetta. So you must be doing something right.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, it's Black Soul Vendetta was. Yeah, it's a bit of. I mean, it's quite funny. We're starting to get reviews back now for it. We've had about 4 reviews, and they've all been great. They've all been corkers of reviews. I think the one I got last night that came through from Jenny Tate Rock Reviews was another 9 out of 10, you know, like
Fantastic.
she makes a lot of reference to the first record, which I know she loved. Basically just saying they've done it again, which is, to be honest, you can't argue with that, I suppose. There's, you know, like I guess, you know, the plan of the band is to always evolve, and we will try and evolve. The plan of, you know, the Devilfire as a project, as a band, is to constantly evolve and get, you know, move into new territory, but still keeping about it what we all held dear with it in the first place. So yeah, it's really comforting to see that the reviews are coming back well, because if they came back going, this is pretty much a shit sandwich, you know, like, or this isn't what we expect from Devilfire, then I guess I'd have lost my head somewhere along the line, which I'm glad I haven't.
No, I never thought for a minute that would happen. I mean, you've got a formula, and as you say, you got the catchy choruses and, you know, good solos, and you've got that formula. And some bands would kill for that, to be honest. No names mentioned. You've done a couple of videos already, haven't you? Is there 2 versions of Dream Evil?
There's So the Dream Evil thing, so Dream Evil as a video picks up where She's Like Fire left off on the first album.
Right.
So She's Like Fire is part 1, and that kind of, and the reason this came about was we did a video of She's Like Fire on the first album because we were signed to a PR agency, and they said, we need a video for this single. This is a single. You haven't got a video for it. You need a video for it. So we went, okay. So we went and did a quick video in Lars's lockup with us all on black backgrounds, and they went, yeah, it's boring. And we went, oh, okay. We need to find something fast to release this video with to make it interesting. So we me and Lars just kind of sat down and came up with a kind of storyline based on the song. So it was a tempestuous relationship, and then it kind of evolved into this hold up. Well, what happened, if it got a bit more sinister than just a tempestuous relationship? What happened if, maybe he kills her or something goes on or she disappears, and then maybe we could bring in why would he kill her? Like, he wouldn't kill her just because she was a pain in the ass. Like, why would he kill her? So then we kind of worked in this thing with like the tarot cards and, maybe some forces, the evil forces that are at play from outside the relationship. And that was She's Like Fire. And it got a great response because it had a storyline in it, and it was brilliant. And then when it came time to do the second videos, I was like, well, we've got to think of videos for the new singles on Black Soul Vendetta. And it was like, right, okay, well, where do we go with this? And then I always had this thing of like, I get bored when bands just go, okay, well, let's just film ourselves in a field or in a room or, whatever. And that'll be the video and, live performance. And I was like, that's really boring. And we can kind of do better than that if we really put our minds to it. So we did. So we came up with a second part to the story in which it turns out that she's having an affair with another woman. And this woman is very into the occult, like again with the tarot cards, and there's some Ouija board sort of stuff going on, and I'm playing the male in it, so she's cheating on me, and I'm trying to find out what's going on. It's driving me crazy, and all that sort of stuff. And then that kind of leads into that's basically the Dream Evil video as well. It's like, is this real? Is it a dream? Am I getting this wrong, or what's going on? So yeah, and then at the end of the Dream Evil video, you see me being carted off to the lunatic asylum, which will actually eventually lead into the third part, which will kind of make it all make sense, And we'll, on the next album, we'll probably do a part 3, and that will be the continuing storyline all the way through. And then what I'll do is I'll sit down and explain it all, because as it is at the moment, it is a bit disjointed, but it's supposed to be. But yeah, by the third one, you'll see why I go mad, and why it all went wrong. But that's the whole thing. I didn't want to just do videos like anybody else does. I think it's just a bit more entertaining if there's something else
going back to the days of MTV, isn't it? Really, proper videos.
And I love that, and I think with what most bands have at their disposal now, which is usually quite a lot. I've like most bands, if they want to, could buy Premiere, could buy, could buy a decent camera and go out and do some stuff. But they I think when it comes to the visual side of things, that bands are can be a little bit lazy. I mean, more than I do, because you see far more bands than I do.
Yeah.
There are more, I mean, would you say it's better, bands are doing better visual content nowadays, or they're just doing the same old stuff?
It doesn't have the same feel. It doesn't catch. I mean, you do use your eyes a hell of a lot as well as your ears.
Yeah.
And so by hitting them both at the same time, it does have an impact. I mean, when somebody sends us just a lyric video, the words going across the screen, it's a bit like, what's this, karaoke?
Yeah.
Try to put a bit more effort into this. Let's see what your creativity is like.
Even with our lyric videos, we try and put a bit of video content in.
Yeah, you do.
It is hard at the moment, because we were planning to film a few more videos, but then all of a sudden we couldn't leave the house or even get together. So, that knocked a lot of stuff on this release. But you never know. We might retrospectively do a few videos and see what happens.
You could do, couldn't you? You know, you could go back into it, and maybe when you do a live DVD, you can put the videos on the DVD with an explanation.
Yeah, we are actually
live DVD.
Yeah, we did a really good live performance in about 2018 at a place called the Crossing in Digbeth. It's like it's got a massive stage, and we did a pre-production day before we went out and did a few shows where we wanted to be on a big stage and, you know, like get it all sort of sorted, where we were moving, what we were doing, and all the rest of it. So we took a day, we hung the big banner up, we did a day like kind of sorting it out. But what we did do was recorded it, and they filmed it and they recorded all the files. And what I've managed to do over lockdown is completely mix that together. And that's going to go out. New Wave of Classic Rock are doing a web festival, and I've finally managed to get that sorted to go for their web festival, which is going to be good. So if you do get a chance to see that, but I think we're going to release it into our AAA area as well, and we may even put it out as a live CD, and I'm sure we'll probably upload it to YouTube as well, just so that everyone can see it. So that will be good, because that's a nice like live performance that everyone can kind of, because they can't go out and see live music now, so that's the best we can do really for you. Which
is cool. And again, it harks back to classic rock days. You know, you do a live album or a live video. Us oldies would say a live VHS.
Yeah. Betamax, yeah.
But oh god, no, I'm not that old.
I remember VHS. Don't worry about it. I was like,
we still got loads of VHS. We still haven't gone, because some of the concerts you just can't get on DVD. So, I'm too idle to master them onto disc. What we normally do now for a bit of fun, we have a section which we call Six Appeal.
Right.
It's 6 random questions, some sensible, some crazy.
Right. Okay.
So are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
The first one's sensible. Who would you say is your biggest musical influence?
For me, Lenny Kravitz and Tommy Lee.
Quite a combo.
Yeah.
Is it the attitude?
Yeah, Tommy Lee for certain aspects and Lenny Kravitz for others, I think. I take bits of both of them. You get I think, if you took Lenny Kravitz and Tommy Lee, put them together, and then bored them off Wish, then you'd get me. I'm like the Wish version of those two combined.
Yeah, but do you come with no assembly instructions?
Oh, absolutely. Or they'll be in Chinese, yeah.
Are you a saint or are you a sinner?
I'd love to be rock and roll and say I'm a sinner, but do you know what? It's more saint nowadays. It's more cup of tea and slippers than it ever is Jack Daniels and Coke. Yeah, unfortunately. Whichever Coke you
it has to be now, doesn't it, really? Cocoa. A nice cup of cocoa.
That's it, yeah. Cocoa before bed.
Yeah. Now sniffing certain substances off your young ladies' bottoms, then, like Motley Crue.
I mean, you know, like, no, not anymore. Unless, no. I'm just going to judge.
In your head now, haven't I?
Yeah, I'll just be very, very, very good and go, no. Cup of tea and sniffing.
You could try sherbet.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it makes your nose tingle the same. Your most embarrassing moment at a live concert?
Most embarrassing moment at a live concert. On one of the tour ones in Eastern Europe, my belt broke and my trousers were falling down for about 3/4 of the show. And I think I managed to keep them up. That was pretty embarrassing, but I think I styled it out pretty well. Most embarrassing moment. I mean, I'm terrible. I always forget the lyrics. Like, I always forget. You know, I know these lyrics very, very well. But for some reason, I don't know whether it be adrenaline or whatever, I always forget them. So that's pretty embarrassing. I don't know, before we did the Tivoli, I was throwing up, but that wasn't really in the middle of a show. Yeah, I think generally just being an idiot and forgetting lyrics. I haven't fallen over yet.
Well, don't tempt fate.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm literally touch wood. Yeah, I haven't fallen over on stage yet, but it's coming. I know I've got that one.
You've almost had that. Yeah, you've nearly had the Jim Morrison moment of exposure on stage. So you get in there.
Yeah. Kieran nearly fell off the stage once. I think that was actually the Robin too. He came running out and didn't realise that the stage was a little bit shorter than he thought it was, and he nearly went over the edge. And I saw him balancing right on the edge, and then he managed to tip himself backwards and try to style it out. And it was like, that's how much of a rock star he is. Nobody knew. Apart from the guys around the stage, you were kind of looking at him going, is he going to go? No, he's all right. He's okay, yeah. But no, yeah, but that's why he's such a consummate professional.
Absolutely. What's on the top of your bucket list?
The vinyl was a big one for the bucket list. I've been on a lot of records in my time, but it's always been CD. I've never had any of them, no matter in what capacity I've played, produced, sang, played guitar, drums, whatever I've done. Has never been on vinyl, so that's a big one. I'm gonna plug the vinyl a bit. On my bucket list, I think now I'd like to get married. You know.
Yeah.
I'd like to marry. Yeah, I don't. Probably not. That hell of a dad. But yeah, you know, like yeah, I'd like to get married. And I'd like to go, and I think I'd love to go and play abroad a few more times. The one that's always been on my bucket list I've never got to do is download. I've played download once in a very loose capacity. I've played Donington, but I've never done Donington at download, and I'd like to do that with Devilfire one day.
You never know. Never know.
Yeah. Keep building.
Absolutely. It happens, and I don't see any reason why it shouldn't happen for Devilfire. What's your favourite booze?
The one I drink the most of is Jack Daniels. I know I've said I'm a cup of tea most of the time.
But you've got to have a drink.
Yeah, Jack is mostly. I love the one I usually got a bottle of is Glenmorangie. That's my favourite whiskey. So yeah, I'd probably say that. But I actually, you know, me and the missus a lot of the time go out for cocktails a lot of the time, and I do. I'm partial to a dry martini, but there you go. Yeah, very 007. But no, stuff that I actually just like them. But there you go. Yeah, that's it for booze. Those three.
And final question:
Go on.
Do aliens exist?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm a big science fiction Trekkie, Star Warsy guy. You know, I love science. I have since I was a kid. Yeah, exactly. Live long and prosper. I think it's on the TV above my head. So yeah, it's let's just put this completely logically. To quote Spock. Yeah, with a universe so big it couldn't not exist in one form or another. So yeah, do aliens exist? Of course they do. We found life in the water on Mars, on moisture on Mars. So does aliens exist? Absolutely they do. That's been proven. But do aliens exist in some sort of intelligent capacity like us? Yes, although they're probably so far away that it may not be in our lifetime that we see them. But yeah, I can hope. I'd love to see that one. That'd be great. Very unifying thing.
If they've got a really powerful telescope and they actually focus in on Bilston, they won't come.
Well, yes. I don't know. I got a soft spot for Bilston. I love, you know.
And I have. I mean, I think it's a great place, but it's enough to put aliens off.
Oh yeah, but it's got a lot of rock and roll history, hasn't it?
Oh
Bilston?
God, yeah, Robin.
Robin too being there, and like and Glenn Hughes and all of those kind of guys, and and Spike lives around the corner, doesn't he, from the Choir Boys and that? Yeah,
he does,
so it's a little bit of that black country twang that has kind of set the rock world on fire at times, in different ways.
I think
so. Yeah, I've got a soft spot for it.
Yeah, it seems to come across as the Americans accept it a lot more than London accents for some reason. We sound American more than we sound London somehow, but it just seems to lend itself to rock, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah, the Americans do love it. But they love any. I mean, they really love a British accent, and it's great when you go over there. Even if you go, like I went over to Canada not so recently, but it was a few years ago. But my cousins live in Canada, and they were just like, yeah, okay, everybody will notice your accent, so just be prepared for people to comment on it. And yeah, fair enough. There were a lot of comments. So, and I don't think I have. I don't think I've got a black country accent. Let's say it that way.
No, you haven't. No.
But yeah, they could still tell. They could still tell it was completely English. So yeah,
How is it, Birmingham?
Birmingham, yeah, Birmingham, Alabama, yeah.
Well, Alex, it's been a pleasure talking to you as always. You're always a rock star to me and to a lot of other people as well. We wish you the very best of luck with Black Soul Vendetta, and when you get out live, you can guarantee we'll see you again. Yeah, we are hoping to get out live very soon. The soonest one we will be out is at the station in Cannock, fingers crossed. If that doesn't get pulled and that's all good, and then that's the first one that's Gravity Festival on the 6th of October. It's that weekend anyway. It's that bank holiday weekend. I think we're special guests on the Friday night, so that should be good. That's the first one back, and obviously there's a few other dates like Hard Rock Hell next year, stuff like that. So yeah, we're really looking forward to getting out there and seeing everybody. We're missing. I'm missing everybody. We miss you too. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Alex. It's been a pleasure. All right. Have a good night, and Mollis John. Bye. You both keep safe and well. Thank you. See you in a bit. Bye. Ta-ra, love. Ta-ra.